All right, guys. It's your boy Moonlight. This week at that Fat Podcast. We back with another one. Shit. The active NBA players podcast. Let's see what they got to say about this in the Gills Arena, baby.
I feel like a lot of players should not have podcasts while they're hooping.
Brandon,
we talked about that
before.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I have to go back and apologize, but I just feel like, okay, well, name me a player.
Why you have to go back and apologize?
Because it was like,
because we doing the podcast shit.
Because it was early, and then, but my thing was while you're playing.
But y'all done playing. So
Playing basketball, right? And you have to go out there and battle. You're doing a podcast talking about shit that's going on. I feel like it's a distraction. Like, I just feel like it's distractions from your craft. Just like we were saying the video game thing. And it's a certain thing, it's like, yes, it's making you money, but everything, if you played over 10 years or whatever, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, you're going to have enough stories to tell when you're done playing and people are still going to be interested in it.
Yeah.
But what about, I guess, to the opposite side of that, controlling the narrative and having the ability to do that? I think all of you guys have dealt with the media during your careers. They can.
I'll say you do the podcast now, however you do it, and then when you retire and make your documentary, you got all your podcast stuff and whatever else you add in there in the documentary, so you got more footage. But hey, to each his own.
Paint stories the way they want to point them. They will ask you a line of questioning to try to get the narrative that they want. When you're a player now, you can turn the mic on.
If it ain't extreme, if the situation ain't extreme, it shouldn't demand your immediate response to it. One, and it's like we're so quick to jump to try to correct somebody's criticism. This is a part of the game. Letting the motherfuckers say what they're going to say. You're going to say what you're going to say, just like in the comment section. You don't got to always correct that comment. It's millions of them shits.
Yes.
But that's the point that they're doing on the podcast. Let me go control my narrative. Man, let that shit die, bro. Nobody paying attention.
Michael Jordan controlled his narrative when he dropped that documentary. That's how you control your narrative.
He didn't control his narrative?
Yes, he did. This is my documentary.
Wait, he didn't control his narrative when he played?
No, it doesn't matter when I play.
It do matter. That's why we having a conversation. So the purpose of the podcast is to fix it now, not later.
But when it was time for me to tell you what I did and how I wanted to win and everything, I controlled that, though.
The narrative has already been there since then.
So a lot of people didn't know his narrative.
A lot of people didn't see it.
A lot of people never see Michael Jordan sit down and talk like that and talk about, this is what I had to do to win. Yeah. And if you didn't like it, get the fuck on.
That's just a new era. We're talking about during the time he played.
And that's fine.
So who was running his narratives then?
Probably the media.
Because you got to remember, if he's correcting it now, like all the stories we're hearing now, and you can see people like, well, the fucking Scottie Pippen got to say. Well, that's the motherfucker who won with him. So I want to hear what he has to say. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You wasn't around Michael Jordan. He was.
He's talking about the players that are playing now, though. Like
the people who didn't understand Michael Jordan or whatever, they do now because you can go to the documentary. Now, everybody, listen, I threw it out there. Boom, I did what I did, and it's my thing. Now, everybody who around.
His narrative was clean back then, so he ain't have nothing to. He had Skip Bayless back then.
Whatever the narrative was, though, about him, everything ain't gravy.
That was the closest thing to MJ podcast back then. Skip Bayless.
Great, obviously, because his teammates. Obviously, his teammates had a problem with it, so it wasn't great and great.
All the teammates.
They're going on tour talking about, it wasn't like this.
Did they have that in 92? 93, 90, no.
They didn't have media like that.
Shut the fuck up.
Because
they were using the media to push.
Shut the fuck up until you're done playing. You should shut the fuck up until you're done playing, too. Is what I'm saying. So the narrative makes sense.
Because you just said
nobody cares about what you're saying while we're playing. You're winning, shut the fuck up. Why are you talking about? Bye.
You don't think Scottie Pippen would have?
Well, then he should have.
He is the most glorified Robin. And how is he treated? Nobody even know this nigga no more.
Damn. Why?
He got 6 rings because he didn't have no narrative. It was all Michael Jordan. He said that.
Larsa Pippen, we know him.
I mean,
yeah.
Most disrespected Robin that has ever played this game.
You disrespected yourself. You took that weak ass deal.
Saying nobody knows.
But did people really know that at the time? I didn't know that. I was finding out during the documentary. So people knew that when the Tony Kukoc situation happened, they would have been said something on the media, but they didn't know. Whatever.
No, Scotty.
Team friendly deal, Brandon. Team friendly deal. I say not know him. I say, wait, you know him, right?
Stop playing.
We all know Scotty. Everybody knows Scotty Pippen.
That's why you shouldn't be the two. Stop trying to be the two. Be the one.
Team friendly.
Shit.
I guarantee you, man.
I'm just saying,
I guarantee you, this man right here,
five,
this man right here wish he had a podcast when he played.
I'm a private nigga, man. I don't do all that shit.
So,
I ain't no
you
YouTuber,
talking
my
about
nigga.
when everybody said you wasn't coachable and you wasn't this and wasn't that.
Nah. I just want an opportunity for the coach. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. Say if me and the coach online, we good.
But how did that impact you though when you're playing? You got to read
Couldn't
stuff
change
like
the
that.
narrative.
You could have fixed it. You could have fixed it right then. Because you were saying they were saying stuff about you to the other coaches. That you got a bad attitude. You could have fixed it. But hey.
And see people saying that type
I
of stuff.
dealt with it when I was in high school.
But accepting that as fact because that's what they're getting. That's what they're getting pushed.
I look at it as a challenge to change the narrative within. I
Change
know
the narrative now
I
on the
got to do it. I
podcast.
got to. I can't lean on.
Oh, shit.
That was his point.
How did that help his career when he was playing? I think if he would have got to change it when he was playing.
We didn't have podcasts then, nigga. What you talking about?
If he would have did that, then he would have been blackballed even more.
Because I'd have been saying
Because
whatever I
it would've been
wanted to say.
So now he can say what happened. Okay, it's either you.
But would he though? Because he probably would have said what happened before they even got the story out. So he would have been ahead of them. Because he the source. He the real source. He's the horse.
You agree, but this is how I felt. This is what I'm saying. This is how I felt. It's not okay. Now I gotta say it then. Okay, well, everybody not in that position to be able to say it then.
Yeah,
and even if you do, you're gonna get fucked over.
You will get fucked over for sure, for sure.
So you can't
If
say
Scottie Pippen would have came out and said all that shit about Mike and all them players, Horace Grant going on tour, all that, they would have been finished. You're done. You better say it now.
But if he would have said that back then the people would have known. But they still play how they played. So you can't change that. But at the same time, 20 years later, Scottie Pippen said that's how he felt. But you couldn't tell. Was they acting? Or was he just going with the flow to get his rings? Who knows?
What they did to Isaiah Thomas. Shit. You see what he did to Isaiah?
Exactly.
the narrative is ran for 20 years. These guys are finally coming out. If I got to say it in real time and cut it off like, yeah, man, I wasn't mad at the time. I didn't do this. This is what I was thinking. I get to clean it up. Versus letting someone say, yo, he's just a bad headache and this and this and this. And then you got to sit there for 20 years before you can speak about it.
Listen, it's all about when you have the opportunity. It's all about how you want to clean it up. They should have said that. What you said, I should have been this. I should have been. But okay, this is how you felt. So you was playing with a person that you hated the whole time.
Who said
you just
that?
dealt. They hate him.
Oh, they hate him after 20 years after the narrative has been the same.
You don't think Mike was telling him, man, get your weekend. You see how he was talking to that one dude, that rookie? Man, get out of here. Man, get the fuck on. Man, imagine what he was saying outside of that to them. Come on.
Well, Mike said he ain't treat Pippen like that. Y'all gotta go watch The Last Dance. See what's going on.
You hated him because he made you be something that you couldn't be.
That's what y'all
That's
talking
all it is.
about.
So be grateful.
You're
At the end of the day,
talking
just be
about
grateful.
now, 20 years later of something brewing. We're talking about in real time. In real time, if he got a chance to clean up whatever was going on, they don't have a narrative about him. That happens today. If a guy has a podcast and you get to challenge, right? You get to challenge someone saying, sources says I'm this. You get to be the own source to say, no, nobody told you that shit.
But you're winning though, right? You're
It
winning.
don't matter. Nobody
Y'all
told
winning,
you
right?
that shit.
Y'all winning, right?
But no one told you that I was unhappy about this. Now you believe something for 20 years and then I got to come back on a nigga podcast 30 years from now to say, yeah, so back in 1978.
Yesterday. I mean, we just talked about a fight that happened between Jared, but we still bring it up yesterday. That's the same thing. So what's the problem there?
Yeah.
But he could have cut it out then.
So
What's the problem there?
so I get what both of y'all saying.
So what's the
Right?
problem?
So I get what both of y'all saying, right? For B's point, right? I don't think you should speak on other teams. Like if you do have one, to your point, if you do have one, I don't think you should speak on other teams. Right?
While you're an active player.
While you're an active player,
Okay.
if you have one, I don't think you should speak on other teams and other situations that's going on around the league.
Has nothing to do with you.
Has nothing to do with you. Right?
What about other players though?
No.
Just your
Your
team,
your situation.
and how you like the game.
You can current events around the world, life, babysitting, marriage,
Yes.
cooking, toes,
Yep,
whatever it is
yep.
you want to talk about. But not other teams. You can talk about football. You can talk about wrestling, boxing.
I like that.
But not other teams, not other players.
I like
The,
that.
problem, the problem with that becomes now then people aren't going to want to watch
Well,
it, right?
no, you can show everything. Yeah, no, you
Why?
see that's the problem.
See,
right?
that is the
Why?
problem.
That
is
controversy. It's a
I
business.
come from an era with mind your business, man.
Yeah, I feel
Man.
like
Because not
I'm
minding your
disagreeing
business
with you.
get you slapped and punched in your face.
Man,
So, no, talk about what your team, your situation, everything that's going on with your person and that's surrounding you, right? Your city, what's going on in your city. I'm with you, right? So just like when I was playing, right? So while y'all were talking, my brain was going right. So while y'all, I'm like, so when the whole thing was going on with me and Fat Ass in Denver, right? If I would have been able to do what Draymond did going home after the shit happened, and me being able to say exactly what the fuck happened, right? Going to the hotel room after I didn't threaten George's life in the game. Me going to the hotel room, I set up, hey man, me being able to vent and tell the people so they actually know like this is what happened. Like so when it actually comes out,
You have my side.
you got my side and you got their side. So, but I understand what you're saying absolutely, and I get your point as well. Being able to control the narrative for you, you know what I'm saying? So that's what made me think like
But you would be able to do that. A lot of players can't do that.
so-
that's
so,
all
yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah,
That's
I
all.
feel you, but
That's
so
all I'm
that's
saying.
what-
I said in a specific
hold on. How you know? They ain't even tried yet.
event too, not
Yeah.
just something just random, like something like that.
yeah.
You got to jump ahead of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But nothing is just like, I just want to go and say some shit where I got into it with such and such on the floor and I
Yeah,
want
not
to,
at all.
you know what I'm saying? Just that type of shit.
No,
they,
you
they
can
be eager to jump on the pod to do that.
Yeah, you
rather
can
than
go and
cover up
talk
some
about.
big
Yeah,
shit.
you can go discuss like the game after the game, how the games went, how your performance was,
So
like
question
not
for you,
critiquing your
Kenyon.
teammates.
What if it's something to correct the situation? Like we had Vernon Maxwell here on the
Yeah.
couch yesterday. There's been a way that story with him and Gary Payton has
Yep.
been reported
Yeah.
by one side, and he just wanted to set the record straight and correct it. Now, if somebody says something about you, I slapped Kenyon in the locker room,
Yeah,
and that's the furthest thing from the truth,
yeah.
wouldn't you want to now be able to respond?
In real
If
time.
he was playing,
Today.
if he was playing,
Yeah.
If I'm, and
You get to
real-
change it today.
in
Not
real
30
time,
years
yeah.
from
if a
now.
nigga smack me
but
while I'm playing, I would
Or
want to
I'm
go.
saying if they said they
Well,
did
that-
something
yeah,
like that
whatever.
happened.
Are you asking?
So what you want to change it in real time? Like soon as you heard that story, like on like Twitter or something, and you boom, he capped. You stopping it right there before it get too wild. We're probably gonna get wild, but your side out there too.
Asking if the dude went to another, if he was on another team at the time when he said it.
I'm just
Right.
if something like that came out,
He
maybe
pushed it
former
out
teammate,
like
whatever.
he did this and did that and made
and
it
now all
look
these
like
clips are going
Yeah,
viral.
but and he's on another team.
If we say he's on another
Yeah.
team for the
So,
sake of this conversation.
Yeah, I can correct that.
Okay. What if he's on your
Because
team
he
at that point?
directly came, he involved me.
Yeah, he said
Right.
the name.
He said me, he involved me. So therefore, if he's on another team, then yeah, I could address that person.
What if
Right?
he's on your team? Would you just deal with that privately?
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But even if it's done privately, you got to remember the narrative is pushed in a way where it makes someone like
Yeah, that's
When
cool.
someone says a narrative, think about whoever gave this person the information, they're pushing it a certain way. So if I want to make you look bad, I'm going to push it in a way.
Ever wondered why you should get an LLC with a third party when you can do it all by yourself? Yeah, of course. Those companies want to make a
Yeah.
a way to make you look bad.
Well, the Draymond Green narrative they got pushed, they ain't really have to do too much to make nothing look bad. They leaked the footage. You can't say nothing about that, bro. No, that's how we practice. And I don't think that was gonna work, big man. Big man, I don't think that was gonna work, big man. Not today.
If there's no podcast for you to correct it, for me to look stupid, then this is the narrative. There's no, you're fighting against something that someone's done. So this has been who you've been for 20 years, right? Without any correction. So you don't get to correct me once whatsoever. Now podcasts are in. So when I throw this story around, you can be like, hold on. Nope, this is what was said. This was what was done. You're lying. That story dies right then and there. That's the difference now.
See,
Like my gun story is my gun story for what? 16 years. There was no podcasting back then. So that means Gilbert Arenas pulled a gun on his teammate over a gambling debt.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Yeah, that
I
was
pulled the gun on my team.
That was the story until he got his podcast and he told what really happened. Doesn't make sense. But like he's saying, if he had a podcast then, he would have told his story then and he could have stopped it a little bit or majority. Oh man, what these guys want? Okay, guys, hold them up, hold them up, hold them up. Wait a minute. Pause.